Resident Evil.
Resident Evil Review Part 1.
Probably sounds really stupid.
I'll get that gadget. I'm Batman.
I think horror has seen many changes throughout the years, especially in cinema. When did scary movies become about someone getting hacked up versus true moments that actually scared you and made you lock your door in your bedroom at night? You guys want to see something really scary? Who's this guy on my shirt? Most films today are either hack and slash films or they're just terrible remakes.
Name the remake of the groundbreaking horror movie in which the villain...
Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, Dawn of the Dead, The Hills Have Eyes, Amityville Horror, Last House on the Left, Friday the 13th, and A Nightmare on Elm Street, My Bloody Valentine, When a Stranger Calls, Prom Night, Black Christmas, House of Wax, The Fog, Piranha.
Well, maybe they're all remakes. For me, there are defining moments when media truly scared me. It's one of the reasons I still hate dolls to this day. Thanks, Chucky. Heck, I remember every moment of watching George Romero's zombie films. I think one place that I always wanted a good horror fix was on a video game console. It was really rare to find a video game that would pull you in and still scare the daylights out of you. When we talk about video games and I bring up the word survival horror, a few games might come to mind, but actually not a lot. Maybe Alone in the Dark, Silent Hill, Alan Wake. But there's one game that should come right to mind right off the bat. Actually, due to its popularity, it coined up the name survival horror and is the leader in its genre. Granted, there was some games before it, but this game set the standard and became a ruler for all games to be measured by. And that series was Resident Evil. Towards the end of the series, the franchise kind of took a turn that a lot of people weren't comfortable with, but no one can deny its influence in the late 90s. So I decided that it would be fun to take you guys on a trip through Resident Evil history, while along the way maybe reviewing the games, teaching you some things about the series that you may not have known, maybe showing you the comic book series, the novels, and maybe discuss the fact that Leon is a damn BOW that Capcom chose to never address.
What?
See, I can tell you're now curious about what I'm talking about because you probably don't know that. But I guess that'll give you an incentive to keep watching this series because we'll discuss that in a future installment. Now, I'm not saying in any way that I'm some big, huge Resident Evil buff or expert. But it is something that I've spent a lot of time with, and aside from Sonic the Hedgehog, it's one franchise I've devoted a lot of my time to, and something I get real schoolgirl excited about. So to go ahead and start this bad boy up, I'm going to go ahead and get my old PS1 out. 1996 was the year Resident Evil was released. In Japan, the series was called Biohazard, which makes a hell of a lot more sense than Resident Evil. It would have kept the same name here, but in America it was basically impossible to trademark the word Biohazard. Resident Evil has definitely grown on me, the name, but due to the plot, Biohazard makes a lot more sense. Now before I pop this in, a lot of you may have thought of a different title and a different game when I mentioned that Resident Evil was the first survival horror game. Some of you actually may even know Resident Evil's origins and where the idea came from. If you don't know, then let me go ahead and give you a quick history lesson here. Capcom actually developed a game in 1989 for the Famicom. This game was called Sweet Home. The game was actually only released in Japan though, due to censorship. Supposedly for its time, it was brutally too graphic. It was a heavily focused RPG, and it was one of the first games to focus on a scary atmosphere. You might actually be asking why I even bring this game up. Now, I'm not going to focus too heavily on the plot here, but I want to talk about a few specific things, and you tell me if you notice anything interesting.
The game begins with 5 members who step into a deserted mansion in the middle of nowhere. The game uses Left Behind diaries to convey the horror and plot behind what has happened. When entering and leaving rooms, the game uses the familiar door opening sequence. The game features an inventory that can become hard to manage with so little slots. You will have to learn to balance it well or find save rooms to move items around. You will come across puzzles that will involve items you will find scattered throughout the mansion. You will come across different multiple endings. Some characters can die in the plot and not be saved, changing your overall outcome. Really, this list can go on, and if you're a Resident Evil fan, you will realize that all these things are present in the Resident Evil series.
That's because when Resident Evil started, it was actually meant to be a remake of the Sweet Home game. But as things moved forward, the ideas that were instilled in Sweet Home were kept, but the plot and everything went in a completely different direction. If you want to know more about Sweet Home, I mean, you can go look it up and look into it. But that's just a nice little history lesson on the origins of Resident Evil. There was actually numerous versions of the first game. There was the original, there was a DualShock, and there was the director's cut. Not to mention the game saw numerous ports on DS, GameCube, but this game would be the best one to talk about when we review the first game. This version here was supposed to actually be completely unedited, and that was actually something that they used in their marketing campaign. But here in America, they still had censored a lot of it. But we can show you those exact things as we continue with the footage. There was also a few other features that were added, such as the lock-on. There was an arrange mode where things would be moved around. But overall, I would definitely recommend picking up this game if you've never played Resident Evil. I think I've taught you enough boring stuff, and you probably don't really care anymore.
Alright, okay, can you just put in the game already?
Okay, let's start this game up.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. I do have part 2 ready to go, but it'll be uploaded in a week from now. You won't have to wait 3 months for that. Yay. And I also had Zevo collab with me on this project. If you know who he is, then there's no point in telling you because you probably already figured that out. But if you don't know who he is, if you click right here, you can go check him out. Hopefully he will continue to be with me on these and continue to collab on these videos. For these videos, I thought it would be really cool to give something away. So I'm going to be giving away the Resident Evil 3DS cases that GameStop chose to not give to people because they suck ass. So I bought a bunch of those, and I figured it'd be really fun to give those away. So really all you have to do to win that is the normal things, such as make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment, favorite it, share it with your friends, make sure you like my Facebook page, which all this is down here in the link. And make sure you go like my Facebook page because I will announce the winner on there once I upload the next video. And then of course I will give another one away with my next video, and we'll just continue that with the Resident Evil things. So you definitely have a chance to win one, futuristically, if you don't win this time. But other than that, I just really thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It definitely took me a long time, and I apologize for that, but hopefully it's worth the wait, right? Probably not. Okay, goodbye.